Hey guys, this is Isaiah Belfort here, and welcome back. I hope that you're having a happy Easter day, because I am. Well, today, for the first time in my channel, I'm doing a live comparison, and that is between my two videos that I made. Yike M3GAN vs. M3GAN 2.0 from last year, and the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and the Super Mario Galaxy movie. So yeah, both of these videos has something to do about the franchise that is owned by Universal, and one of them is a horror kid-friendly movie, and one of them is an animated illumination film based on the Mario games. So yeah, I'm just going to react to both of these videos and see which of these videos that I have done better. So let's get started.
I am a huge fan of the Mario games. When I played them as a kid, I thought it was good. Well, I didn't care for it much because I was more of a Sonic fan back then. But when I got older, I lost interest of Sonic the Hedgehog, and I didn't care for this franchise as much I used to now. But that's when my appreciation for Mario starts to grow. Back in 2023, I saw the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and I absolutely love it. And
2023 was a good year, a great year, if you will.
I've always been a Mario person. Well, anyway, the Mario movie sequel, aka the Super Mario Galaxy movie, just came out, and I just watched it. And for today's video, I'm going to be comparing it to the first movie. So, is the Galaxy movie is actually as good
I went
as the
to
first movie,
Rico
or it just
for
failed,
the X
just
to
like
watch
M3GAN
the Galaxy
2.0 did?
movie, and it was a
The
great
sequel, which I
time.
personally
Especially
liked, and
I
yes,
was
this is an
watching it
inside
with
joke.
my 2
Anyway,
or
it's time to
3
let the battle
friends.
crash.
Hello, this is
And
Isaiah's friend
this
of
my
mine.
friend
This is
Saj.
So,
Yeah,
at your service.
I did include him into the video,
Let's go.
much like I
Yahoo!
did with my other friend.
The story of the first Super Mario Bros. Movie, well, it's about Mario and his brother Luigi. They struggled to start their business of being plumbers, and then they discovered a pipe that takes them into a different planet, and Luigi just got captured by Bowser Empire. So Mario goes to the princess,
The
and they
story
work
in the
together
first
to stop
movie
Bowser
really
from
did
taking over
make
the
up some
world
good
and save
memories.
Luigi. Well, the story
It did
of the
make me
Galaxy
feel like a
movie,
kid again.
Princess Rosalina got kidnapped by Bowser's son. Well, Princess Peach went on a mission to space for self-discovery, while the Mario brothers were guarding the kingdom until Bowser Jr. attacked. Alright, the Super Mario Galaxy movie had some pretty great stuff to get into the movie, but the story
And that
was
is
pretty
true.
much a
It
bloated
really
mess.
does.
We had like 3 parts line apart, focusing on Peach and then Mario's side, and then Bowser plot line with his son. Well, just to
I
make it
just
clear,
can't
the
believe
pacing
that
and
it has
animation
all
is
3 of
better
these
this time
elements
around,
all
and
at
it really
once in
did
one
felt
movie.
longer than the first movie. It's only an hour and 40 minutes, but it
An
felt
hour
like 2
and
hours for
39
me.
minutes,
But other than
actually,
that,
but
it felt like
it's
they're not
kind of
telling
the same
story
thing, you
much,
know?
and they just went straight to the action. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think the first movie has the superior plot, and I am going to explain why. Mario
The first
had
movie
a
does
character
have
arc
a
where he has
superior
to prove
plot.
himself that he can do anything impossible, and Luigi learns learns how to be brave at the end of the movie too, and that
I
is the kind
did
of story
like Yuichi
arc that
character
I didn't
arc.
get again
It-
in the
it
Galaxy
was
movie,
beautiful.
and I was pretty underwhelmed how they handled their characters in the Galaxy movie, and we will talk about that in the next round. Well, I'm willing to admit the first movie's story was simple, but it makes up for being simple with the cinematic gameplay experience that you feel playing the Mario games as children's. I never played the Mario Galaxy games before, but I was
Yeah, you
impressed
gotta
how
believe me,
they
guys.
adapted
I
it
never
into the
played
movie,
Mario
and
Galaxy
the
in my
illumination
life.
animation really made
You
the
can
visuals
call me
better and
weird
better each
if you
time.
want.
Well, although
I
may
really
agree
have
with
not
the
played
animation
this
style,
game
the Galaxy
before.
movie doesn't feel as effective as the first movie did, as Mario has overcome challenges, and it is pretty much an origin story of how Mario becomes the iconic hero that we know and love. So the movie with the better story
The
is
first movie.
undoubtedly the first movie. Okay, what I meant by characters in the Galaxy movie being, well, you know, let's
Mario,
probably starts
Luigi,
with
and
the
Yoshi
positive.
saving
I
a bunch
liked
of
how
Toad's
Luigi
superheroes
had more
in
screen
a Galaxy
time this
movie.
time around, and
It's
I love
just
seeing
insane
Yoshi
to
in that
see
movie,
that.
and it is a pretty dang time seeing those characters fit into the story. But although I was disappointed of Rosalina in this movie, she has less screen
Yeah,
time.
Rosalina
and they
was
even
a
lack
bummer in
emotional
this.
story arc with her. Rosalina from the games had a tragic backstory, and they could have just established it into the movie. Okay, well, sure, they show a backstory with Rosalina and Princess Peach as
They
kids.
should have
Oh, by the way,
made Rosalina and Peach
related, but I'm
sisters.
talking about
Yeah,
the
I thought it
backstory
was
of
a
how
weird
she found the
decision.
Lumas and became their mom. In the Mario Galaxy games, Rosalina tell the whole story of how she found the Lumas and decided to become their guardian. Yeah, they could have just made a flashback about that as their advantage. Well, even though I never played the Galaxy games before, I knew they should have done this instead. So for that, I would preferred if Peach and Daisy were sisters. And the heck, if they actually
I
do
really
this, then they
do.
could have competed with Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Shadow the Hedgehog is a tragic character, and his backstory
Yeah,
is
Shadow
true
is
and
low-key
faithful to the
better than
games in the
Rosalina.
movie. And oh man,
And that is
I don't
just
even like Sonic that much
embarrassing.
anymore, but yet I prefer Shadow's character over Rosalina, and that's just not a good sign.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
I think
really
it's time
not.
that I need to address the elephant in the room. I think most of you guys know that Star
And
Fox
here we go,
is in
Star
the Galaxy
Fox.
movie.
I
Well,
mean,
did a
seriously, there's
reaction
no
to it
reason
my
to,
other
like,
video,
put
and
him
I
in the
obviously
movie.
did not like this because I personally don't want a
If
Super
Star
Smash
Fox
movie,
was in it,
but either
and so
which,
of
I
the
thought Star
Pikmin
Fox is going
and
to,
Mr.
like,
Gaming
show up
Watch,
in the post-credit scene,
then
but
we will
it
have a
turns
Super
out
Smash
they just put him
movie,
in the middle
which
of the freaking movie for no reason,
I really
and
don't
I am not
want.
kidding. Well, not only Fox McCloud was in it, they show other unrelated Mario characters.
Oh, and
like
Rob
the
is in
Pikmin
it.
as a example, and me personally, I hated these cameos. It
Yeah,
felt
me too,
unnecessary
myself.
forced, and it just doesn't make sense for the story. And the heck, Fox barely interacted with Mario during their adventure, and he had more screen time than the other Nintendo cameos, and that's how you can tell that they're just using him as a cheap cameo than
Yes,
rather just
exactly.
an actual character. Man, Jesus Christ, that reminded
It
me
really
of
did
when
remind
Wonder
me
Woman
of
just
the
showed up
Flash
out of
movie a
nowhere
little
in
bit.
Zack Snyder
The
DC
fact that
movies.
Fox
Well,
McCloud
except
was
this
forced
is
into
actually
the
worse.
Galaxy
Well, the
movie.
first Mario Bros. Movie did better with their character, in my opinion. Well, despite Luigi not having much screen time, and despite
yeah.
the fast pacing, the first movie did took us into the journey of how the character achieved at the end. Mario, like I said, has went from being a zero to hero, and it does feel like we are watching an actual Mario movie. And as for
The first
Galaxy
movie does felt
it felt
like a
we were
Mario
watching a
movie.
totally different movie.
But the
Since Star
Galaxy
Fox
movie
appeared,
is
well,
just
if it was just a
different
post-credit
with
scene,
these-
then I would excuse it. But because it is not, the movie and the characters themselves really fall flat and under development. I may buy it in the first movie, but I don't buy it in the sequel. So yeah, I'm sorry guys, but the first movie has the superior characters.
And then we have the
Alright, now we're
villains,
on to
which the
villain
first
segment.
movie
Alright, first
execute
off,
their
I gotta say
villains
that
better.
I love Bowser
Even though
Jr.
Bowser
in
Jr.
this
was
movie.
pretty
He
great,
is
but
bratty like
overall,
he's supposed
it's
to be, and I
it's
liked
not
his
even
battle
close.
with the Mario Brothers. Well, although I also had my few issue with him when I first saw his design in the first movie teaser. Well, I was not a fan of what they did to his eyes colors. It
Yeah,
got
I'm
so
really not a
weird
fan
to
of
me,
his
and
eyes
that eye
colors.
design, that makes
Yeah,
him
his
look like
eyes
a
design
creepypasta
is just
character. And
pretty
watching the
rough.
movie, well, my opinion has not changed on the eyes. And plus, Bowser Jr. origin story just seemed a bit unclear to me. Well, there's a backstory with Bowser
Yeah,
and
the
Bowser
Galaxy
Jr.
movie
together,
really
but
should
they
have
didn't
did
exactly
something
explain
to flesh
how
out
Bowser
the whole
Jr. gets
story
abandoned
and stuff
in
like
the
that.
first place, and where he really come from. Like, that makes the whole plot holes of the Mario universe even more questioning. Well, Bowser character arc was pretty wasted at the end of the movie. When he worked with Mario and Luigi a bit, I thought he's going to have a interesting redemption arc similar to Dr. Eggman in Sonic the
Yeah,
Hedgehog 3,
that's the
where he
feeling
just
that I
redeemed
got when
himself and
Bowser worked
sacrificed
with
his
Mario
life
and
to save the
Luigi.
world. That's what I'm hoping I was about to see when Bowser teams up with Mario in the middle of the movie. But they ended up keeping him as the same bad guy character that he's always is. Yet Bowser
Yeah,
is
I
pretty
was
much
really
the same character
disappointed
at the end of
by
the day,
Bowser's
and that
character
is something
arc.
that I am not happy
Yeah,
to see.
they should
on
have
character
done
growth.
better
Well, Bowser
with this.
made a great impression in the first Mario Bros. Movie, and he held up as a threat at least. And Bowser
Okay,
had his
you guys
comedic
might
moment
have
with
not-
having a crush on
You
Peach
wouldn't
and all
like
that
Bowser
stuff,
as a
and that
good
is because
guy
he is
if
played
this
by Jack
happened,
Black.
but
Well, the
me
Galaxy
personally,
movie,
I
it
think
just
he
tends to
deserves
be
some
pretty
redemption.
jokey at time, much like the Minecraft movie is overloaded with comedy.
Yeah, that's the
with
same
no
spot
self-aware.
that I'm
But like I
getting
said,
when
Bowser
the Galaxy
Jr.
movie got
was
jokey.
great, but his
Yeah,
father,
they
Bowser
really
Sr.
give it, yeah,
had
the
some
Minecraft
such wasted
movie,
potential. Oh yeah,
what's
there's
this
also
called?
the frog
Treatment.
guy
Yeah,
from
they're-
Super
they're
Mario
putting
Bros.
Minecraft
2,
movie
and I
treatment
totally
in this.
forgot he was in this movie. But anyway, with that being said, the movie with the superior villain for me is the first
Super Mario
Bros.
Bros. movie. Yeah, I
Like and
get
subscribe
it.
to Isaiah's channel.
And it's nice of him to,
The
yeah,
action
say
in the
that.
first Super Mario
to,
Bros.
yeah,
movie
to
was just so amazing.
let me start
They
over.
just
It-
used
it's
the
nice for
gameplay
him to
mechanic
say,
during
yeah,
the
then
action,
subscribe
and it definitely
to my
makes me
channel.
want to play the games again right after that. And the action scene with the Mario Kart was so fun to watch, and the
Hell
climax
yeah.
battle was so legendary for me. As for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, the action is also great, and I gotta say, I was impressed. I actually saw this movie on 4DX with
Yeah,
my
that's
friend,
what I
where you
said.
have the simulator seats.
The
where you
simulator
moved
seats
when the
was
characters were
fun.
moving and feel what the characters were feeling. Well, this isn't my first time doing this, as I have experienced the simulation.
Yeah, I
watching
did
Transformers
experience
1.
the simulation
so, yeah, I
in
had a really
Transformers
great
1.
time with the action.
That was back
especially
in
the impact of the
2024 when
simulated
it
seats
comes
are
out.
moving. But it doesn't really satisfy you once it is over. Like, whenever the action sequence are over, I just felt like there's something missing, and I never felt that way in the first movie. Like, a part of me just felt like there's so much more that they could have done, because the action doesn't hit with a bang at the end, like the first movie did. The dry bone Bowser was unexpected and cool, but we need unexpected but cool stuff for the heroes as well. Like Mario
yeah.
using the giant mushroom
It's crazy
as a
how,
bad counter,
Mario just
and in my
used
mind, that
some
sounds way cooler
random
than the
power
Star
up
Fox
that
action
makes him,
sequence that
a
we
Super
don't really
Saiyan,
need.
like
And
Sonic.
I honestly don't know what the hell was that.
Yeah,
Was
I
that
mean, I
supposed to
don't
be
know
like
what the
a
hell
Mario
is that
version
power
of
up,
Super Sonic? Sounds about right, don't you think? Well, anyway, I think the movie that has the superior action, well, at least in my opinion, if you take the Mario and Donkey Kong fight in account, is the Super Mario Bros. movie.
Conclusion, yeah.
Super Mario Galaxy was a fun movie, but I unfortunately did not love it as much as the first film because my only major issue with this movie is the Nintendo cameo being used as a excuse to set up a Super Smash film, which I am not
the
looking
damage
forward to.
really have
Mario
done
is
with the
supposed to
Galaxy
be
movie.
in a standalone universe
Like, the whole
away from the other
crossover
Nintendo
setup
IPs.
really
The way
damaged
that they
the
just
whole
forced
Galaxy
Star Fox
movie
into
for
the
me.
movie, while you're supposed to be telling a Mario-focused story movie, it just threw me off, and I bet
it
they
really
confused
did
the
kill the
audience with
movie
this.
for
Heck,
me.
I bet that the kids were asking their parents stupid questions about Star Fox and
And
Mario.
that's my
So,
thought
with a
after
less
walking out
interesting
the
cameo
theater.
appearance with Fox McCloud, it certainly connect to an even less interesting crossover movie that nobody
asked
literally
for.
asked for.
Oh boy.
You know what? Let's get this over with. Alright, well, Super Mario Galaxy movie could have been a 10 out of 10.
Well,
Star
if it
Fox
weren't
and
for,
the
the Super
unrelated
Smash
Mario
setup with
characters
Star
were not
Fox
in this
and
movie,
the other
but now
Nintendo
that they
characters,
are, my
then
score
that
for
could
the
have been
Galaxy
a
movie
10 out of 10
is a
easily.
standard 8 out of 10.
And it would have
And
made
the
it
Super
on
Mario
number
Bros.
1
movie
on my
gets
best
a
list,
well-deserved
just like the first
12
movie
out
did.
Of 10. Oh man, I can see why the critics are so harsh on the Galaxy movie. Well, it is not a
the
Shrek
critics
2
really hate
situation
this movie.
where it is one of these
But
sequels
for me,
that
I thought
surpassed
it
the
was
first
still
movie,
great
but it's not
despite,
out straight terrible at any means. Both the Galaxy movie and the first film felt like a cinematic event, but the difference is that after seeing the first Mario movie, I walk out of the theater with a big smile on my face, and I was so happy when I first watched it.
It was a shame that the Galaxy movie did not hit the same impact that I did with the first
rewatching
film.
this movie before watching Galaxy. Well, as for the sequel, well, I just felt the same feeling when I walked out of the theater after watching the Minecraft movie, and that is not good. And you know what I realized? I realized that the first movie is Mario and Luigi's story, and the Galaxy movie, it's more like Princess Peach's story at best. Well, anyway, the Mario Galaxy movie was excellent, but
the
first
Galaxy
movie
was
remained the
Princess
juggernaut
Peach
masterpiece
story,
of all
indeed.
video games movies. Well, talking about the Galaxy movie, well, I feel like I'm just going to watch this movie 2 times, and that's it. And that's pretty much how I felt about
I'm
Avengers
kind of
Endgame,
thinking about
because
watching
I watched
this movie
Infinity War
again.
multiple times.
Well, I'm
because
going
it's
to
sort
watch
of a
Mortal
better movie
Kombat
out of the
2,
two.
so
Well, anyway,
we will
it's
have to
been
see
nice
about that.
seeing my childhood back on the big screens, and overall, I would easily highly recommend
And
watching
that's the
both
end of the
these
video
Mario
there.
movies.
Okay. Alright, now we're going to react to the second video for today. Okay, M3GAN versus M3GAN 2.0. Okay, that is the video that I made in, I believe, August 22 of 2025. Oh man, I thought I made this in October. But anyway, yeah, let's get on it.
M3GAN is one of these horror icons ever since her first movie was a success, and as a result,
I never thought I will ever talk about M3GAN in my
movies are
video,
superior?
like
Well, I'm here to
ever.
find out today. Now let's begin. The story of the first M3GAN is about the tech builder Gemma taking care of her niece after the loss of her parents. Well, long story short, Gemma created M3GAN for a companion for Katie, but then M3GAN became rebellious and a bit clingy
Yeah,
and
the story
overprotective,
of
and
both
just like any
M3GAN
cliche horror
movie
movie, she
is
started
is
killing
both
people that
simple
mess with
and
Katie. Well, as for M3GAN
they're pretty
2.0,
simple
this
at
movie
its
takes
best,
place
you
in
know.
2 years after the first movie. The government has stolen some parts of M3GAN and created a clone that also became rebellious and started killing people. So Gemma was forced to team up with M3GAN in order to stop the M3GAN clone. Okay, first of all, I gotta say, the story for M3GAN 2.0 was just awfully similar to the Terminator 2, and that's what this movie
M3GAN
is commonly
2.0 is
criticized
like
for. Although
Terminator
2 is
2,
2
but
hours
it
and
is
19 minutes, and as for
underrated.
the pacing for M3GAN 2.0, it was pretty short. Well, I should be grateful for that, because the first movie was a lot shorter. Like, I did not like the story in the first movie. Okay, well, I did like it a little better than before when I rewatched this movie, but it was just pretty basic. M3GAN just becoming a psychopath, rebellious killer robot just felt so rushed, and I think they really couldn't handle this twist with time and care. Well, for that, I wish they can push the runtime to 1 hour and 50 minutes longer.
Yeah,
Or better yet,
that's why I
they could
wish
have
that
pushed
the
it for 2
runtime should be
hours and 10
pushed,
minutes,
because
just like
both
they
of these
did with
movies
Scream
are
6.
just
Like,
pretty
the characters
short.
could have been fleshed out that way with this kind of runtime. Well, the story for the second movie is no good either. Okay, well, on paper, it is a fun, campy horror action movie, but in the plot execution, there's something that doesn't make sense. Like how exactly the government was able to steal some parts of M3GAN to begin with. Okay, well, sure, the M3GAN project was leaked, but it was destroyed at the end of the movie, and the police and the firefighter don't have something to do with this. Well, unless the government checked in the house and check out some parts of M3GAN. But how though? Okay, let's just say that the government was able to steal some parts of M3GAN and create a clone, but why they need to create a clone when
Yeah,
they know
that
it
is
risky?
something
I
that
mean,
I
they know
don't
that M3GAN has
understand
killed innocent
with M3GAN
people, so why
2.0
make a clone like
plot.
her and
The
use it
fact
as a
that the
military weapon?
government
Like,
are
what's really
using
the purpose
M3GAN
here? Well, because of
clone,
that, my
I mean
biggest
M3GAN
problem
code,
is that M3GAN
to make
2.0
another
doesn't feel like
AI
a
just to
2 hours
fight
movie.
with
I
them.
just end up
Like,
walking
I
out of
thought
the
it's
theater
just
expecting
generically
so much more,
stupid on
because after
their
watching
part.
Terminator 2, which it is a 2 hours movie, I finished watching it with no complaints, and that is not looking good for M3GAN 2.0 part. So, which M3GAN movie has the overall superior
The
story?
first
Well, you
movie.
can tell that I am not happy with both of these movies' plot, but now that I have rewatched both of these movies again just to prepare for this video, I think I prefer the story in the first movie, and I'm going to explain why. Okay, don't get me wrong, I had more fun with the story in 2.0, but the first M3GAN was just an origin story, and I like origin story. I mean, Katie has lost her parents and dealt with the grief, while Gemma has to figure it out to have balance between working and taking care of Katie, and M3GAN was a tool for Gemma to keep Katie occupied. Okay, for how basic the storytelling was in the first M3GAN, it was well
What's that
developed
sound?
enough for the second movie
That's
to be
just
great.
interrupting
So
the
for
video.
that, I appreciated the plot in
Aw,
the first
man.
M3GAN, and as for the story for M3GAN 2.0, it just really comes off dull and even more basic than the first film outside of everything.
I just
And the horror
cannot
elements
ignore
was
the
just
sound,
barely
yike.
there, and it was just a full-on action film mixed with comedy, and there's not much going on than I expected this movie will go out. Okay, the movie with the superior story is undoubtedly the first M3GAN. Alright, now it's time to talk about the main topic that you guys are probably here for. Our main girl, M3GAN. Okay,
M3GAN
is
was
by
easily
far my
the best
favorite
character
AI
in
robot.
both of these
okay, what we know about
movies.
M3GAN is that
Terms
she
on
is programmed to
her
protect
charm.
Katie, and she has a sassy attitude, personality. Well, despite Gemma being the main character, M3GAN is always the one stealing the spotlight. Well, me
M3GAN
personally,
did steal
I
the
am
show.
not a fan of horror movie, so I don't like how she kill people, but she always have that charm. So, what do I think how they did M3GAN in the second movie? Well, I thought M3GAN was 10 times better than her first movie counterpart. She has more sassy attitude
Yeah,
to
M3GAN
her, and
did.
I also feel a sense of
They
sympathy
did double
towards her.
down
Well, in the
M3GAN's
first movie,
personality
I never
a lot
feel
better
sympathy
in the
for
second
M3GAN.
movie.
Well, actually, they never make me feel sympathy for her or anything really, but I did with the sequel, and I was on her side this time around. Well, her programming is being there for Katie, and as for right now, I can tell she has failed her kid, and she's wanting to just make up for it. Okay, well, not to get a little inappropriate there, but I noticed that M3GAN
The
has
tension
a thing
between,
with Gemma,
yeah, the M3GAN x
suspiciously.
Gemma
Well, in the
thing I
movie,
just
Gemma
started.
and M3GAN had a
Yeah, I
rivalry
have a
since the
pretty
ending of
messed
the
up
first
mind
movie,
back
but
then,
it was rather
thinking that
just them
Gemma
acting
and
like a marriage
M3GAN are.
couple the whole time.
I was thinking that M3GAN and Gemma are gay. Yeah, I had a pretty messed up mind back then. Eyes and mouth and every part of The moisturizer has drained from your eyes and mouth and every parts of your body. Yeah, that makes me laugh every time, yike. Yeah, let's just skip with this, yeah. And I know where to go.
I can't not be the only woman that noticed that, because there's
I'm
definitely
seeing like
something
M3GAN
going
now.
on between Gemma and M3GAN. Who knows, maybe something like this might get confirmed. Okay, anyway, I undoubtedly had more fun with the sequel M3GAN, as her more personality was funnier, and even the audience in my movie theater was laughing at her performance. Okay, although I thought her dance move was better in the first movie, but I also think that her singing skills was better in the second film, which it was my favorite part of the whole entire movie. Okay, I can talk
really
all
is,
day
yeah.
about M3GAN and M3GAN 2.0, but we have to move on to the next round to talk about the characters. The sequel M3GAN, without a doubt, is far superior.
Okay, then we have the human
as you're not
characters
realizing it, or
that
as you
I don't
are,
yike
there's a
in
lot
the
of
first
certain
movie,
layers to the
but started
characters
to
in
yike
M3GAN.
them in
Gemma is the main
2.0.
character, and her goal is building a AI doll to connect with her niece to give more time for her to do her work. And as I'm being honest, she doesn't have any character arc until the climax and the sequel. Because, well, honestly, I thought Gemma was a mediocre person who doesn't give a crap about anything.
Man, I'm
When she
funny.
heard that her sister and brother
Yeah,
have
Gemma
been
was
in a car
really.
accident,
Well,
she
I
didn't
thought
even
Gemma
shed
was a
tear,
mediocre
like she
person.
doesn't give a
Yeah.
crap, and yet she treated Katie like it was her first time meeting her, and her heart-to-heart scene with Katie in the break room just felt too little and too late, and it has no build-up. So yeah, because of Gemma behavior in the first movie, I didn't give a crap if she live or die, but thanks to M3GAN 2.0, I thought Gemma was a decently great character. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
It's
judge me
shocking.
all you
Okay,
want.
well, Gemma may not
Gemma
give
was
a
great
crap
in the
first
second movie.
but in the second film, you can understand her and develop some sympathy for her. Like, she literally explained why she couldn't connect with Katie, and the way that she just explained it, it sounded pretty formidable, and she was able to learn from M3GAN at the end of this film, although I wish that the movie runtime was pushed much longer to flesh out these characters, but it was wholesome. Okay, now let's talk about Katie's perspective. Okay, first of all, this girl lost her parents. Like, she's hoping that her aunt would replace her mom. Instead, she sees Megan as more of a mother figure than just a best friend, and that is unhealthy. But then Katie gets a bit disappointed when her friend has let her
kind
down.
of
Well,
did
in the
like
second
Katie
movie, they
in
were
the
able
first
to have
movie.
a heart-to-heart moment.
I
But sadly,
did like
Megan
her
and
a
Katie
little
don't
better
have
in the
enough screen
second
time
one.
together,
It's that the
and I
writing
wish that they
keeps
do
on
have more
writing
screen
her
time
to be
together.
out
Okay,
like
overall,
a
this girl
struggle
Katie
child
can't not
that
catch
gives
a break.
attitude
Like, she has
problems
dealt
to
with
her
trauma
aunt.
situation.
And I
Like,
did
her
not
whole
like that.
character was about struggling to express her emotions. She talked to Megan about it in the first movie, but then talked to Gemma. Well, in the second film, well, you can tell that she still struggles. Well, I am not sure it is building up into some foreshadowing or something, but I would like to see Katie character arc get resolved in the third movie. Oh, and
Megan
speaking of which,
3.0,
this
I can't wait for
detective guy or
that.
CEO, whatever
Hopefully
he
they
is,
just make
he
that
is completely
movie.
useless in this movie.
Yeah, I
and
completely
I did
forgot
not
about
care that he
Sander.
got stabbed.
Yeah, I
and
don't
know
like him
how
at
is
all.
it possible that he is still alive? Whatever, I just don't care, and hopefully I don't see this bastard in Megan 3.0. Oh, and by the way, I didn't talk about Cole and
Yeah,
Tess
Cole and
in
Tess,
both of these movies.
they're not
because both of
anything
these
special.
characters does not
They're
have
fun
an interesting
side
arc.
characters,
Well,
but
although they have more to do in
not
the second
compared to
movie,
Gemma
but I don't
and
think
Katie.
it is enough. So, which movie has the superior characters overall? Well, I think I like the characters even more in the second film, so I believe that Megan 2.0 has won this round.
And we have the villains.
Megan is pretty much the villain in the first movie, and she is a pretty intimidating one too. Well, I may not feel any sympathy for Megan in the first movie, but watching this the second time, I realized that Megan never wanted to be a monster. She just wants to be a part of the family, which she was designed. Okay, although I thought Megan killing Gemma's boss for no reason was stupid, but I'm just gonna go past that. The villain in Megan
she
2.0
did kill
is a
Gemma's
Megan
boss
clone
for no
called
reason.
Amelia. Well, like I said,
Which
she
I
was
find
built as a
just-
military
yeah.
weapon, which I still don't think it makes sense. And I gotta say, I thought Amelia was a cool villain. Like, she's
Amelia was
intimidating
pretty
foe,
badass.
and I like her fight scenes with Megan. And what I notice about Amelia is that she never blinks. Like, she never blinks at all
Yeah,
with her eyes.
that is pretty unnerving. I did mention in this video that Amelia never blinked her eyes, which it is terrifying for an AI. So yeah.
And that is nerving. And even the actors in the interview noticed that. Okay, although my only issue with Amelia is that I don't feel a sense of sympathy for her, just like I did with the main characters. Like, seriously, if you give her some emotional depth to her character, then she could have been
I
a
thought
great
they need to
supervillain and
flesh
rival
out
to
Amelia's
Megan.
character.
But unfortunately, I just instead see Amelia as a generic villain that dudes take over the world cliche. Well, Christian was also the villain in the second Megan. Okay, a lot of people been saying that Christian turning out to be a villain was indeed predictable. Well, me personally, I don't agree with that, because when I first watched this movie in theaters, I didn't realize that Christian is going to be a plot twisting villain, so I could have seen this coming,
I was pretty
and I would have
surprised at
guessed
first.
that's going to happen, and although his villain motivation is also generic, but what this movie makes up for is the action. The first Megan only
Yeah,
had
the
one
action
scene in the
has-
climax where Gemma fights Megan, and then Megan fights another robot what Gemma built. Well, I'm not really sure of how Katie was able to sneak in with a power glove that controlled Bruce, but it was a cool moment. Well, Megan 2.0, on the other hand, has a lot of action.
Megan
and
2.0
I had
is
a blast
loaded
watching
with
it. Yeah,
action.
it was absolute cinema. Okay,
Absolute
although
cinema!
The only thing that I found is predictable in Megan 2.0 is her sacrificing herself to stop Amelia and save the world. Like, I definitely knew it was coming before I watched this movie, because I have seen the Terminators movies before. Okay, overall, I think Megan is a lot scarier in the first
Yeah,
movie.
of course.
So the first Megan gets another point for having the superior villains, but the movie with the superior action segment is undoubtedly Megan 2.0. You know what I realize is that the first Megan is all about finding family, and the second
yeah,
film
that's
is
right.
all about second chances. And
Yes.
that's what I think of the theme
Finding
in both of these
family
movies.
and second
I don't know about you
chances.
guys, but I don't
That
think
is the theme of
Megan
both of
2.0
these
is all
movies.
that bad. Okay, well sure, there's some stuff that doesn't make sense to me, but Megan 2.0 could be one of these sequels that done something right, unlike the first. Like, this movie was just so simple that it is good. I mean, seriously, if you end up watching Megan 2.0 again with your brain turned off, then you might found some enjoyment. Well, especially watching an interview where they just use a real
I
life
remember
animatronic
these
of
Megan
and her funny
interview.
personality,
It
which
was
it was
hilarious.
hilarious. If you're interested, then these interviews are available on YouTube. Oh, and as you didn't know, there's an R-rated cut version of both of these Megan movies, so I might make a comparison video again to see which one is bloodier or scarier, and I think I might do that in the 31st of October. I think that's all I need to say. Now it's time to get to the scores. Okay, after watching the first Megan for the first time, I originally give it a 5 or a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I did give it a 5 or a 4 out of 10 when I watched the first Megan. When I watched Megan for the first time, I thought it was pretty dumb. I did not care for it. But watching this a second time, I was starting to like it, but I didn't love
this
it.
movie again, and I recently became a fan of the Megan franchise. My current score for the first movie is an average 6 out of 10. As for Megan 2.0, well,
But watching Megan 2.0, well, I was pretty impressed. I did had a good time, and I gave it a 7 out of 10. But watching this again, well, now it is an 8 out of 10, and now I am a huge fan of Megan. I don't care what anyone said. Megan just
I
rocks.
originally give it a high 7 out of 10 when I made a review on my previous video. Well, even though I only saw the beginning part of the film back then.
Oh yeah, I did not watch the beginning part because when I was on my way to the movie theater to go see Megan 2.0, well, I was late and I did miss the beginning part, but thankfully I was able to see again, so
Now that I have seen this movie again, Megan 2.0 now gets a really good 8 out of 10. Okay, overall, Megan 2.0 has slayed my expectation. Okay, well, the first movie has a better story, and it is definitely more effective with the horror elements, but in my opinion, it was more entertaining than I thought it would be, and it makes it worth watching. Like, they were able to turn these unlikable characters into unique ones and
Yeah.
give Megan such a believable redemption arc. But Katie needs to stop putting her hands on her aunt for random situation because I thought that was disrespectful. Okay, flaws in
Yeah,
all,
Katie
I liked the
needs
first
to
Megan
keep her
now,
hands.
and I
She needs
love
to
Megan
stop
2.0.
treating her
Well, on
aunt
top of
like
that,
this.
there's a Megan spin-off being made, and it's going to be called Soulmate. Well,
Oh yeah, there were going to make like a soulmate movie for January of this year, but it just got canceled because there's no marketing for this. Yeah, so Universal did make a big mistake. Well, hopefully the Soulmate project get brought up again for maybe next year, I think.
sure how it's going to work, but I am looking forward to watching this movie. Well, hopefully they just make like a crossover film with Chucky and Megan. Well, I never seen the Chucky movies, but I think this
Yeah, I am
crossover
hoping
potential
for
would be
Megan
cool,
and
it
Chucky
would
to
probably
cross
be
over.
the biggest horror movie in history. Like, who knows? The Megan cinematic universe might hire me for that idea. Well, anyway, my name is Isaiah Belfort, and if
And
you
that's
enjoyed
the
this
end
video,
of that
make sure to like
video.
and subscribe.
Wait, let
and
me
comment
wait
down
until
below
it really
of which
ends.
Megan movies do you prefer and why. And please be respectful while you're typing in the comments, because like I said, it is my opinion. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys next time.
So yeah, well, I don't know. I did like both of these videos. Well, since I'm more of a Mario fan, I will say that my Mario movie videos is better, but the Megan movie video did recommend some few audience to go see this movie, so I don't know. Well, comment down below of which of these videos that I have done better, because for me, I kind of like both, but at the same time, mostly the Mario Bros. Movie and the Galaxy movie. So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.